Hi everybody, welcome to this episode of the Lavaca County News Review podcast. Now, join your hosts, Murray and Michelle, as they bring you the news from all the newspapers in Lavaca County, Texas. Okay, Murray and Michelle, take it away.
Howdy everybody, this is Murray back with you for the Lavaca County News Review for the May 24th and 25th issues. And I have my buddy Michelle here with me. And how you doing, Michelle?
I'm doing great.
All right. Well, you got anything to tell us about the recent events?
I will say it's been a busy week or a couple of weeks here at the paper. And just as school is ending and I know teachers are fighting kids that are ready to get out for summer, and things are busy, so are we, and with that comes sometimes a little bit of human error. And so as we were putting out the paper this week, we had internet problems, all kind of things, but our biggest mistake, and we do thoroughly apologize for it, is that on the pictures of the Houtsville High School senior honor grads, we have the valedictorian listed as Lindsay Polk, and the valedictorian is actually Miss Caitlin Ward, and then in return, Ms. Lindsay Polk is salutatorian. And so those girls have worked really hard, and we understand that. And so it is written correctly by Mr. Jimmy Apple. He got it right. We got it wrong. And we will make sure that that is corrected in next week's edition somewhere throughout the paper as well. But the most important thing is that these girls have worked really hard, gained their honors, and also Mr. Brant Trelichek for his honorary graduate. We did get him right there, but congrats to them, and they will graduate this Friday at 7:30.
Yep, and we will definitely have a change and make sure that that's straightened out.
And also on that front page are the Sacred Heart honor grads, and they graduated this past Sunday, so congrats to them as they started their summer break or on to their next chapter in their lives.
And we're going to have a picnic. We're going to have several picnics before it's over with. Jimmy Apple's got a story about the Sacred Heart Parish spring picnic coming up Sunday. And y'all have one over there in Shiner, too.
We do, also on Sunday. So go to both. It's going to be a good time by all. Get lunch at one and burgers at the other. I think they both do a lunch and burger kind of thing. So do that. Listen to some music, play some games, have fun. And it's also Poppy Day this week. And I think on the front page, Jimmy has a great article about what will be going on for that. And I'm not sure, I haven't got to read the whole article yet, but poppies you wear them in honor of a fallen veteran, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So those will be, I'm sure, throughout the town in all communities. So give a little donation and wear a poppy in honor. So.
Yeah, I see our buddy Hank, Henry Joe Yashik, has a trivia question. What city is known as the birthplace of Memorial Day?
And Henry did leave us the answer. I made sure he did that before he left, and we went to see the goats, but I can't talk about the goats too much, because that's next week's news, guys.
Yeah.
But he did. I made sure he left that answer, so you guys could start calling in already.
Yeah, well, tell them about what you and Hank did.
So, me and Hank had 2 field trips this week. On Monday we went, and there are some hard-working goats cleaning up the Lavaca River bend, I guess, the hills of the Lavaca River, and from all of the growth. And we got to go see the goats, see them at work, and today we went to see their progress, and they have come a long way, and I think they're going to move to the other bank. So go check them out. There is a fence. You can't touch the goats, but it's kind of fun to see them all down there, and they are very happy, friendly goats. And the one thing me and Henry learned is they like to eat poison ivy and poison oak.
All right.
So that's their food of choice, and they've cleaned up a lot of that really fast.
They must be pretty tough if they can stand that. But yeah, every time I go over the bridge, I say, what's all that white down there? And they look down there and there's a bunch of goats. But anyway, that's going to be, I think they're doing a good job.
They're working hard. And then we have the Athletes of the Year that were awarded at the sports banquet last weekend. I think it was last Sunday. So congrats to those 3, the 2 gentlemen and 1 young lady. Best of luck in their future careers.
Looky here. They got us a big ad for the podcast.
Yeah.
In color. Well, that's great.
They want you to listen to us, just like we want you to listen to us.
You bet. Well, we've been gaining listeners, slowly but surely.
We want it to go faster. Listen more, guys. Share.
That's a Poppy story there with the American Legion Auxiliary.
Yeah, I think that's part of the Poppies for the week. And Hallett Oak is having some summer camps, so there's a lot of events that will be posted that are going on, not only picnics, but there's the 90 on 90 garage sale, all of those things. And the paper is a great way to get your events out there, so advertise with us.
You bet. You know, we're still in the Hallettsville Herald, Tribune Herald, but you have to really bear with us this time because we had some late stuff going on. Michelle and I, neither one really got to cover these. So we're kind of like y'all are waiting on yours. But anyway, and I want to thank all these. We've had a lot of advertisers running color ads this week. We really appreciate that.
And you will find an insert in both your Shiner and Hallettsville papers. And those both cover the special sections for the graduates, as well as we did one for Luling here at our office, but we don't cover Luling, but congrats to those grats anyway. And so all of those have inserts. Pick up a paper for that commemorative edition, and that was made possible by all the advertisers in it, and I appreciate all of them.
And we're over in Section B now, the sports section that is put together by our buddy Chucky Groff. And he's got some good stuff. One headline here is that Wilson's home run helps the Brahmas sweep the Indians.
Yes, they are still playing, and unfortunately the girls did suffer two back-to-back losses in a 2-3 series last week against Santa Gertrudis. It's a little bit of history there. Santa Gertrudis has always been a little tough competition, and seemingly they were again that, and so congrats to those girls on a great season.
You know, a lot of the athletes in our county have done well, and the teams. Go ahead, Michelle.
And then there's some great pictures of the Indianettes, and who have dominated postseason. I know that they won state, and so we're getting around to all of their accolades. So.
I wonder who took all those pictures.
And that would be Mr. Chuck Groff. I'm 100% sure of that.
He took all these?
He should have credit for all those.
Well, good for Chucky.
And then there's some more pictures from the awards ceremony that was held on Sunday. And I don't know what Hit Fest is. It looks like a fun time.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask Chuck more about that.
Got a lot of pictures, so they must do well.
And then the history of the Telegraph by my favorite reporter, Mr. Murray Montgomery.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did one about the telephone. I don't know if y'all got to read it, but it was a chore to try to find out when the telephone came to Lavaca County. So then I decided it'd be a real neat idea to do the same thing with the telegraph, and it was even harder. Believe it or not, the first telegraph near us at the Morales store in Morales, Texas. And I don't know if you folks know anything about it, but I mentioned it here because my little deceased brother used to tell me when he worked for the highway department, when they were near that place, he said they had the best hamburgers in town. So they got that reputation. But anyway, when you think about it, the telegraph ran from, at that time, it's 1870, it ran from Columbus to Victoria. And this little community of Morales and the Morales store was the only telegraph between Columbus and Victoria. So anyway, I thought it was kind of neat, and maybe you'll get a chance to read it.
I'll have to, because honestly, I don't know what a telegraph is. I don't think. I'm trying to think, but I don't get it, right?
That's what it looks like. There's a picture here of a telegraph key. This came before the railroad and before the telephone. And so it was quite a innovation. It was, they even had wires strung across the Atlantic Ocean and tied to Europe. It was a big deal back then.
So read this story if you're like me and just a little younger and don't know what.
A whole hell of a lot younger. And as old as Hank is, he don't even remember the telegraph.
Oh, man.
Okay, we're going to go on up here. You see anything, I'll stop if you see something.
Just always remember that there's lots of information about reunions and different events going on.
UIL.
And then we hit the school news, and you're going to see all these young individuals that were successful and competed in UIL and second in elementary. division at state. That's Sacred Heart, and that's in PSIA, which PSIA is the equivalent basically to UIL on the TAPS division or the private school division. Some great kids doing great things around the area.
You bet. Whole bunch of them to be proud of, that's for sure. Hey, we're going to scroll on, folks. We are running a little bit behind, so that pretty well covers the Herald, Hallettsville, Tribune Herald, and we're going to move over now to my co-host hometown, and that would be what?
That'd be Shiner, Texas. Nothing's finer than living in Shiner.
Oh, yeah.
So, a lot going on this week in Shiner, as Murray mentioned. We have the picnic going on in Shiner as well as the one in Hallettsville, and then we have graduation. St. Paul graduated last week, so those grads were in there, and this week is going to be Shiners. And then another big thing going on is the K. Spetzel Distillery is opening this weekend. So there was some, I call them teasers. You were able to get some of the spirits as mixed drinks for the past couple of weeks. Now you're actually going to be able to buy the spirits in bottles. And so it tells you a little bit about what's going to be available. There's going to be prizes and lots of activities. So while you're making all your way through those picnics, make sure that you come and you pick up your bottle, and you'll be able to tour the distillery now and see the new part that's going on at the brewery.
The story and the pictures by our managing editor, Bobby Hariska, and I believe we have this story in all our papers in the county here. When I did Moulton, I put a picture of the bottles, and they had vodka and gin, all kind of stuff. Anyway,
and the bottles are really great color.
They're very pretty. Yeah, it's something you might want to keep.
And Jacob Stafford, who is a local graduate from Shiner and then attended the Air Force Academy, he will be speaking at the Memorial Day event on Monday, and that will be at the Green-Dixon Park at starting at 8 a.m.
I guess we better tell everybody that we're going to be closed on Monday.
Oh, we're closed. So I can go to that event. Yeah, that's why we're closed. Yeah. No, we are closed to honor Memorial Day. So ads are due this Friday at noon along with news content. So make sure that you get that in because we will not be back till Tuesday. And if you guys don't know, Tuesday is our publishing day and we can't really put anything in. So tomorrow and Friday, make sure you're contacting us with anything that needs to go in next week's paper.
Yeah, our normal deadline is Monday at noon. So you're going to be pushed back. So you need to tell all your friends if you got anything you want to try to get in to be sure and come see the girls in the office Friday.
We'll be excited and ready.
You bet. Okay, we'll go on down here. You tell me if you see something that you want.
We're scrolling through. The brewery donates to the Shiner Clippers. We talked about how they're coming back. It's a semi-professional baseball team. And so that's exciting. They started a long time ago and they're back in action. And their first game was this past weekend.
And we had EMS week. We have a picture there. And a big ad from Shiner Brewery. Poppy Days, same thing we had before over there.
And then Shiner High holds a CTE signing day, which I cannot tell you without looking at this. Is it career?
Texas Career Signing Day.
So to me, it's very important. I have told my daughter for many, many years that basically from the point where she started talking about college and knowing that her dad and I both went to universities and got degrees, that I told her that how important it is to do first a job that you love, but that it's not always about the big university or the name, but it's about the degree you get in the training. And a little tidbit is one of my best friends actually went to Texas State Technical College, and she went in commercial arts and advertising, and she taught me so much when I met her because she got trained in technical training of the programs and different stuff like that would have very much helped me where I was thrown into a more different kind of environment.
Yeah, it makes a difference on what you take when you're in college. As far as one of my daughters, she took forensic science, but now she's a fourth grade school teacher, so she doesn't use that, but she got a degree. She got 2 degrees, as a matter of fact, and she went to, back then, I believe it was Texas Teachers College, wasn't it?
Yeah,
now it's Texas State.
And it was Southwest Texas in between. So they changed, the names changed, the times changed, but the biggest thing is career training is just as important. I want someone to do my hair, my nails. I'd love someone to fix my toilet when it's broke. So plumbers are important. All those are careers that
I won't tell you what,
important.
Those plumbers and carpenters and electricians, they make good money.
Right. And have you ever lived in Texas and your air conditioning went out? You want someone to call.
Yeah.
So make sure that you never think twice about encouraging your kids to go and be trained in something and further their education, whichever way fits them.
Okay, we're looking at some Shiner sports. Can you read those two ladies here?
It's Lauren Falden and Megan Winkenwerder, and I think those are the two seniors on the state golf team. Those two are the state golf team, the Lady Comanche state golf team. It was their first trip ever to state golf, and they placed fifth. And I think it was like maybe 105 teams I read.
Yeah, that's not bad, I'll tell you.
It's a very, very hard road, but they were very successful. And the Lady Comanches and Comanches will continue their play this week on their way in hopes of getting to that state tournament.
Yeah, thanks to Mark Luby for those stories, and he's our sportsman over in Shiner and Yoakum and sometimes Moulton, so kudos to Mark. He does a good job.
And then another athletic banquet was held, and that was the Shiner one. So you can see some of the award recipients for all their hard work. So make sure, read their names. They work hard to get those awards, and we're proud of them.
Yeah, he's got quite a few stories about this and other things. So it's more than we can read off to you right now. So just get your paper and enjoy it, folks, because a lot of work went into it. I promise you that. And we got classifieds. We always want to mention them. Michelle, you don't do the Shiner classifieds, do you?
I do not.
Okay. You got more.
Sometimes I do some ads for them, though.
You got more pictures at the distillery.
I know.
I like that one.
It's very pretty. It's a lot going on, and it's excited to see the ins and outs. It's always excited to see them grow as well. So.
Well, that ought to do it for Shiner. And we're going to jump on over now to the Yoakum Herald Times, and we'll take a look at what they've got. Oh, look.
All right, we're there now.
Well, I had a fly in my face, so I'm sorry I didn't hit the right button.
This is the second time Murray and I have been bothered by a fly.
I guess it's time to give him a name or bring some spray. I don't know which. But
okay, we'll call him Fred.
Fred?
Fred the Fly.
Fred the Fly. I think that's a good one. Okay, go ahead, Michelle.
So Tom Tom's coming up. You can read about the events that will be coming up in the next weeks, as Tom Tom, I think, is next Saturday, not this Saturday. So look for that as an event going on. Of course, Yoakum High School will also graduate, and then they have about the distillery opening as well. Now let's see what these flags were placed as in honor of Memorial Day coming. So you'll see flags all over the community, and it just makes everyone remember how important it is to remember the fallen soldiers. I just pressed something wrong on Murray's iPad because that's what I do.
There we go.
And we're back. And then we have our church pages, and Murray's going to talk about something very soon. What do you... Poppy Day again, the Kitty Parade.
Well, I'm going to talk about something that happened last weekend, and it was Warriors Weekend. And they took the wounded soldiers and Marines and Navy and what have you. They do this every year before the Memorial Day weekend. They bring these wounded people in from all parts of the country. They bus them in. They stop in Victoria, and they have a big event there. And then the climax of the event is they go to Port O'Connor, and Warriors Weekend and volunteers provide the boats. And then when the fellas and girls come in, they clean their fish. And I'll tell you what, I was looking at some of the catches on social media, and I've been down there 7 times, and I have never seen that many fish caught. So it's wonderful that they had that kind of day. And like I might have said before, is the people at Warriors Weekend take the fish and clean them and get them ready to go, bag them up and give them to the soldiers. Anyway, that's my Memorial Day. But we got a lot of events coming up.
Summer is starting. I think all schools will be out at the end of this week, so you'll see some different recipients also of awards, scholarship. The Yoakum Post Office letter carriers picked up bags of non-perishable foods placed besides mailboxes, and so those will go to the food pantry. So thanks for those post office workers and for helping do that, as well as for the people who donated. City Public Works Week. I think there's a week for everything. Is there a newspaper week? Because I'll be ready for that.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there is.
Water Fun Day. It looks like fun for sure. And then we have some notices. Remember I said don't always skip those notices. They have good information. You may need to know something. Congrats to Sherry Mickish, who celebrated 25 years at the Yoakum Community Hospital. And then Yoakum also, their graduate section's a little different. It's inside their paper, but they have several pages of the graduates and people telling them all congratulations, as we are all very proud of them.
All right. I guess that takes care of 3 out of 4.
What's left? Oh, it's molten.
It's the cleanup batter.
And we have no internet. No surprise.
I punched the button and it says no internet, so that pretty well ends the electronic part of this. So we'll be going to the old manual way where we actually look at the newspaper. So, what's on the front page? Recent rains
leave county roads reeling, which basically means that there's some work to be done, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And so Jimmy Apple does a great job explaining what the plans are as to how to get this fixed and back to pristine condition. A Memorial Day service is also planned in Moulton. We have the class of 23 earns more than 163,000 scholarships, which is a great amount to a small class like that. So congrats to them.
Yeah, I believe they had 17 graduates.
So that was
counted,
great.
Right?
And then we have Mr. Clayton Kelly, who's our new staff writer, writing about the council cracking down on ordinances and explains what their plans are on some of those. I don't know what this is, but it says alleged road rage incident hits close to home for Moulton.
Well, it doesn't go with that.
It is right next to Father Brian telling you could win this tractor in Shiner this weekend. But I don't know what this is about, but it sounds really interesting. So I'm going to encourage you to read it, as I am going to in a little while. Let's see what else is going on. They also have the thing about Spetzel Brewery happening and the distillery opening. And the history of the telegraph is also in Moulton. There's some stuff about bees.
Yeah, the bees are coming back, which is a good thing.
Yes, bees are important. I know it hurts if you get stung by them, but they do serve a purpose.
Our owner, Buddy Price, wrote to Solid Ground, and he's talking about artificial intelligence in a religious term, so you might want to read that too.
Yeah, Buddy always has a good read in Solid Ground, so shout out to him for continuing to write those and send those over and being part of our paper weekly. More of the scholarship winners are listed in that EMS week that Murray talked about, and then that pretty much ends the Moulton paper.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to clean up the cleanup batter. But we appreciate all you folks in Moulton and appreciate you reading our paper. And
send us more news.
Well, you know, I have to own up to something. I'm the one that puts the Moulton pages together on the inside, other than the classified ads. And I had received some Moulton news after I had already put things together. And I think it was like honor rolls and stuff. So you can count on that being in next week's paper. Don't chastise me too much. I'm kind of old and I don't know if I can stand it. But anyway, we're sorry about that.
We will make sure that he gets the proper punishment.
You bet. Well, being sitting next to Hank 2 days a week is about all the punishment I can stand. But anyway, I don't want to leave without mentioning our website, LavacaCountyToday.com. I know for a fact that I put up some stuff on there that wasn't in the newspaper. So, you know, that's something to think about, is going into the electronic division, and it's a good thing. And you can get it anywhere you're at. You don't have to wait for your paper or anything else. But we don't want to forget that. And, of course, the classifieds that we talked about and all these ads from these folks, we certainly appreciate it. And I want to say congratulations to all these kids that have graduated and excelled in sports at all the schools. And even Luling, even though they're not in our county, they're part of our newspaper family. So anyway, I'm going to let Michelle wrap up her goodbyes because she always gripes because I cut her off.
I thought you were just wrapping yours.
No, I was just talking.
Oh, he was just talking. I thought that was his goodbye.
No.
Okay, well, mine is also similar to Murray's, or my goodbye is going to be that, is that I do want to congratulate all the graduates on utmost on all their success throughout the years. But congrats to all the students and teachers for being successful in academics, for the athletes for being successful and having great athletic years. We live in 5, if you count Luling, great communities that compete and work hard and produce great students and have great schools, and we're very fortunate for that. So congrats as you end up that and have a wonderful start to the summer. Share your experiences with us. Do we get slow in the summer, Marie? I don't know. This is my first summer here, so I'm not sure if it's going to be slow or not.
It should be a little slower, but probably not a bunch. Well, I'm going to tell you all happy Memorial Day again, and try to attend some of these events if you can. And I want to thank everybody that helps put these papers together, just like this week. It was mighty hard, but they got it done. We appreciate that. So with that being said, I'm going to tell you all goodbye, and we'll talk to you next week.
Or you didn't let Fred say goodbye.
Who?
Fred.
I'm not going to let that fly say goodbye. He's buzzed around my face enough. That's all, everybody.
Goodbye, guys.